Okay, today we're going to go over some key vocabulary: mean, mode, five-number summary, which includes the minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, maximum, the interquartile range, or IQR, the IQR times 1.5, the lower fence and upper fence. We're going to search for outliers. Now, what I did is I went onto IMDb and I found the user ratings for all the best pictures from the year 2000 to 2015. Now, this is a convenience sample. It's a convenience sample because the information was readily available. I didn't randomly sample all of the best picture winners and their IMDb ratings. All right, so we're going to use Google Sheets in order to calculate all these things for us. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So what I did is I went into the year, I put those in, I put the movie titles. You don't really need all that stuff. We're going to focus on the IMDb ratings right here. That's our raw data, okay, that you've traditionally just wrote down on a piece of paper and you've added them all up, and then you divide it by the number of them to calculate the mean or the average. Okay, that's what the mean is. It's the average. Okay, so when we talk about measures of central tendency, we talk about mean, mode, and we talk about median a lot. Okay, so the mean is the average. So actually there's a function in here that will actually let you do average. So what I'm going to type in is I'm going to type in the equal sign, and I'm just going to type in average, and you can see it come up right there. And it's going to ask me what values I want to average. Well, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight the values that I want to be averaged, and then I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see right here, the mean of this data set is 8.04375. 8.04 is fine. And now we go to the mode. Okay, so we've calculated the mean. We're going to go to the mode. Well, the same thing. I'm going to hit equals mode now, and it comes up. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to scroll down and highlight all of these, and I'm going to hit enter, and there's the mode. The most frequently occurring data item, which is 8.1 in this data set. Okay, and then now the five-number summary, which is minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and maximum. Well, the minimum is the lowest number in the data set, and you might be able to pick that out. You'd see that Chicago's 7.2. All right, so you could probably pick that out, but I'm going to let the computer pick it out for me so I don't make any mistakes. So I'm going to hit equals and then MIN, and you can see it comes up right here. And again, I just highlight all of this data in the data set, and I hit enter, and it goes right in there. Okay, we'll skip ahead to the median. The median is the middle point in a data set when it's ranged from least to greatest. And again, I can hit equals med, and look, it comes right up. I click on it, I highlight all this data right here, and I hit enter, and I get the median is 8.05. Now the median and the mean are very close together, 8.05 and 8.04. That means that this data set is probably normally distributed, probably has a bell shape. I'm going to click down to the maximum. That's the highest number in the data set. Okay, and you can see the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is the highest number in the data set, 8.9. But I'm going to let the computer calculate this one as well. I'm going to hit equals MAX, and it comes up, maximum. And I scroll down, highlight all this data, and I hit enter, and I get 8.9, which is the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Now, what I'm going to do for the quartiles is just slightly different, okay? Because the function in it doesn't allow you to just type in Q1. It won't recognize that. If I hit Q1, it has no idea what I'm talking about, because Q1 is actually a location on this table. So I'm going to start typing in quartile, and you can see it comes up. But when it comes up, it says the data, and then it says the quartile number. So the quartile number for us is 1. So now I'm going to highlight all this data right here. But instead of pressing enter now, I'm going to hit comma, and now the quartile number, and I'm going to hit 1. And I'm going to hit enter, and I get the lower quartile is 7.875. Okay, just about 7.9, 7.875. The upper quartile, quartile 3, I'm going to do the same process. Instead of hitting 1, though, I'm going to hit 3. So quartile, that comes up, I click it, I highlight all this data right here, and then I hit comma, and now I want to do quartile 3, and I hit enter, and I get 8.125. Now the quartiles are what it's going to allow us to calculate for an outlier, okay? And how we're going to do that is we're going to find the interquartile range. Well, the interquartile range is just Q3 minus Q1. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to do, this is going to be equal to, this cell is F8, so I'll just click on that. And then I'm going to do subtract Q1, which is this cell here, which is F6, and I hit enter, and I get 0.25 as my interquartile range. Okay, that's the middle 50% of the data. Now, I'm going to standardize data. I'm going to multiply that by 1.5. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to say equals this. And then the times button is Shift 8, 1.5. And I hit enter. And I get an IQR of 0.37, or an IQR times 1.5 of 0.375. Now that's what I'm going to add to my upper quartile and subtract to my from my lower quartile to get fences for data that we would consider normal. Okay, and anything outside that data would be an outlier. So now for my lower fence, I'm going to hit equals. The lower fence is Q1 minus this IQR times 1.5. So I click on Q1 and I hit subtract, and this number right here, all I have to do is hit that and hit enter, and my lower fence is 7.5. Anything below 7.5 is an outlier. You can see Chicago is going to be an outlier. Okay, the upper fence is Q3 plus this IQR times 1.5. So this is equal to my Q3 plus this number right here, and I hit enter, and anything above 8.5 is going to be an outlier. Now, if I had a larger data set, one of the ways that I could identify outliers is I go and I highlight all this data, and then what I'm going to do is this fill color here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to do conditional formatting. Okay? And I'll bring this window over. Now, when I hit the conditional formatting, this menu came up. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say, it says cell is empty, cell is not empty. But what I want to do is I want to do greater than. I want to find my outliers that are above the data set. And I'm going to color those red. Okay? And I want it to be greater than this upper fence. It's greater than 8.5. Now, any data point that's above 8.5 is going to be highlighted in red, which you can see right there. But I'm going to add another rule here, and I'm going to go lower than or less than. Okay, if it's equal to that fence, we're going to call it normal and not an outlier. If it's below it, though, we're going to call it an outlier. Okay, lower than 7.5, we're going to call that an outlier. And I'm going to color those ones yellow. And I hit done and done. And you can see that Chicago here is an outlier below the data set, and Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, is an outlier above the data set. Okay, this standard deviation of this data set is probably pretty small, and we'll talk about how to calculate those on another video. All right.